with us right now. And we are able to derive at an excellent analytical report with the help of these data analytics tools. So there are so many options which are available. See, I have just shown you some examples of how this will look like. Just by analyzing all these variables, we will be able to, and testing around 10,000 molecules at a time, we will be able to identify the relationship between different criteria. What is the relationship between the molecular weight and the activity? Is there any particular region which is giving us a clue, a sweet spot? The second thing is whether there is any relationship between the log P value and the toxicity. Is there any threshold limit which we have to focus when we are trying to design a new molecule? What about the relationship between the bioavailability and hydrogen bond donors? See, all these informations can really help you, pharmacists, to design a new drug and execute the experimentation purpose. So much of data is right now available to come to a conclusion, to derive at an appropriate result at a very faster pace of time. And slowly we are emerging into the stage 5, which we call it as the artificial intelligence era. As I rightly pointed out, we are in a situation, we are in a technological era where we can compute, or our computer can predict which compounds will work even before the synthesis. Whether there is a scope that these sort of molecules can perform effectively or not. Whether there is a scope that this molecule or this pattern can go right in these types of targets. Whether this particular target can be taken for developing a drug molecule. Every area now it is in the AI era. Researchers are training thousands of known compounds. They're trying to develop algorithms. They're trying to develop molecules. They're taking up all the input data which is available on the net. They're trying to work with the experimental IC50 values which are available. All the molecular descriptor details are available. Just to build a model, this model will actually help you to predict the activity, toxicity, solubility, viability, whatever property you are in the verge of identification. It will actually give you a prompt response. It will actually help you to identify the most suitable area or most suitable answer. So this is how this field is slowly transforming, and now we are in this complete artificial intelligence era. I'll give you some good examples of how companies are operating and how the technological transformation is happening in the industries. Because industries are the major players. We need to be aligned. All these syllabus changes and all these are taken or brought into mind considering the demand of the industry. So how this industrial segment is working. We'll also have a look at that, how each and every companies are trying to participate in this particular area, how they are contributing to this particular area, and how. So we are going to look at all these advancements today. So we are able to develop an AI predictive mesh these days with all the tools which are available, which will actually help us to come up with some good results. So to summarize, so we have transformed from a traditional molecular era to now a research era to now an artificial intelligence guided era. We are now able to come up with some good responses from a scale of 500 compounds. We are able to do analyze 1 lakh known compounds. And of course, now we are entering into an era which is where unlimited number of molecules can be trained at a given point of time. The second area is we are from a physical synthesis area. I will tell you, we are entering into a robotic era. Robots are going to, as I told you during the introduction, the liquid handling robotic systems are available, which is going to help us in the synthesis. And this is going to form a closed loop. So the core bottlenecks are also crossed. And from spreadsheets and Excel sheets, now we are entering into deep learning approaches. But the crux of the presentation or the crux of this entire training program is going to be on data science and Python, where we will try to equip you with the latest available technologies or the latest modules which are available. Hands-on, you can do some interesting work in your research in these domains. Okay, now slowly we are emerging into the next part, what we call it as the global trend. So far I have given you how this transformation has happened, what is the important crux in all these different periods, and now we are in the AI era. Slowly, we are entering into the global trends. What is going on right now? So we all know Financial Times. I have taken few global articles for that purpose. Eli Lilly is signing 2 billion deal US dollar for AI drug development with Hong Kong Biotech. This is a major news which has been found a few, maybe 1 or 2 months before, maybe I think, yeah. So they are coming up with a major finding. They are coming up with a major investment right now. They're investing in a company called as In Silico Medicine. I will show you the progress of the In Silico Medicine. The second news which I come across was an article in Simply Wall Street in Yahoo Finance portal, which is supposed to predict the important global changes which are going to create which are going to create a bullish market in the segment. So there was a news that you cannot imagine that a company called Recursion Pharmaceuticals, they are anticipating around 220 million US dollar revenue and expecting around a earning increase of 684.6 million from current earning of approximately 649 million in a very shorter span of time. In a very a single annual growth rate is going to be reflected in a very stronger pace. These are the different acquisitions and different global market news which are revolving around the pharmaceutical sector these days. The very interesting companies, and I will just also give you a glimpse of what these companies are doing and what technologies they are using, so that any student who is interested in this particular area can make a note of it. And if you are interested, you can do your project on these areas, come up with some good answers. Of course, these are the domains which the industries are looking for. First, we will discuss about a very interesting industry which over a period of around 20 years, they have made so much of profit. They have come up with some excellent results, excellent outputs, and now they have been acquired by they have exited and they have been acquired by another company, which will also be discussed. This is a very interesting global partner. We call it Exscientia. This is called as an Exscientia. Exscientia is a very interesting company operating from US, and they are following an approach called as uh, uh, centaur chemistry. You know centaur, right? Half like a human and half like a horse, right? It's a Greek projected a character, right? So they are following a similar approach here. This approach is called the centaur chemist approach. So 50% they are relying upon this industry's technology. The 50% they are relying upon AI, and 50% they are relying upon human medicinal chemistry. They're globally they are well known for that centaur collaboration approach. They're trying to couple both the AI and human synergy detail. They're trying to merge, or they're trying to get the input from both these domains. Their key specialty is they are using generative AI technology, like how we use nowadays for taking images, downloading contents, downloading PPT. They are using this generative AI technology for designing the molecule. AI is proposing based upon whatever desired property it has analyzed. And the second half, scientists are trying to validate it, they are trying to modify it, they are trying to optimize it, and they are trying to follow a DMTL approach: design, make, test, and learn. So it's a cyclic approach which is now followed in most of the AI-based pharmaceutical research industry. Here, the specialty of Exscientia company is that they are trying to also integrate patient-derived biological data for a better experience. How this particular drug is behaving in a patient. That data is also integrated. Those cells are also taken for the analysis. And expert humans or scientists are also validating it. They're trying to optimize, give inputs to the system, trying to, like how we do the prompt engineering on all those aspects for whatever application we require AI. Scientists are doing in a similar way. And Extensia was one super duper company which was operating. And the news which I shared you previously is also related to Extensias. So Extensia, what it does is the key role is that one good drug, which I can label is a CDK7 inhibitor. The speciality of CDK7 is it is prominent, cyclin-dependent kinase enzyme. It is prominent in most of the solid tumors like breast cancer, lung cancer. In breast cancer, they play a crucial role in estrogen receptor signaling. Say, for example, in lung cancer, they play a crucial role in EGFR signaling. Right. The beauty is that with the help of AI-based drug discovery, they have come up with a model or a program with just 136 synthesized compounds. They come up to the conclusion with just 136 synthesized compounds. A very massive downfall in the time and resources which have been regularly used for this particular type of experiments. So generative AI is designing novel drug molecules out there. Robotic automation is happening out there. AWS cloud integration is helping the scalable AI workflows there. Patient-derived biology is trying to improve the clinical relevance in this area. So they have actually come up with world's first AI-designed drug entering into clinical trials. We call it as DSP-11. There's against the CDK7 protein, which is a enzyme, which is a serine threonine kinase enzyme, which is majorly regulating the RNA polymerase activity. So they have, with that result, they are now able to collaborate with Merck, BMS, Sanofi, some of the top giant players in the pharmaceutical industry. And now they have exited from the industry. They are being acquired by Recursion Pharmaceuticals for a total amount of US $688 million in a span of 20 years. In just 20 years, they have developed a company, they have developed the technology, they have developed a model, and they are able to sell it for 688 million US dollars. And so Extensia is known for this message. By 2020, Extensia came up with this particular answer. Of course, from there the cycle of the industry expanded like nothing. Right? So 2020, they came the world's first AI medicine. From there, they started to expand. To 2024, they went into integrating the AI platforms. They tried to develop around 8 clinical candidates which are developed out of this complete technology. Now they have been exited from this sales and they have been taken up by another company. Not 20 years, sorry, very sorry. It was just in a span of 9 years, they are able to develop approximately 600 million US dollars with this technology. A very interesting company. The second company is Recursion. Recursion has taken up this Extensia company. Recursion is now working. Recursion has another interesting technology which they are using in the pharmaceutical research. Recursion is focusing on an area called as phenomics. What is phenomics? Phenotyping, right? It relates with the phenotypic changes. It relates with the it tries to take into consideration all the omics data along with the phenotypic changes, what a diseased cell is able to predict or able to provide. That data is being recorded and that information is also being taken up to come to a hypothesis for identifying a right target. So this recursion actually is working on 3 important areas. Their question is actually, can AI, this is where the recursion's idea started. Can AI recognize when diseased cell will become healthy? Right? Second thing is, can a diseased cell, millions of experiments are being done, deep learning analysis are being done, drug discovery is being done. So this is the mechanism which is happening. And the advantage out there is it is completely data bound and AI is absorbing the actual biological outcomes without any bias. So they take into picture all the diseased cells, they do millions of experiments in that cell, they do gene knockout studies, they treat them with different types of medicine. From the images which they are getting, from the phenotypic images which they are getting, they're trying to identify most appropriate drug for that particular. So this is the crux of what this phenomics approach is all about. They take into consideration the DNA microarray, they take into consideration the RNA sequencing microarray, they take into consideration the Western blot experiments, they take into consideration GCMS, they take into consideration the time lapse microscopy images. So this is what we are doing. All these data are being compiled. All these investigation tools are being used to come up with a most suitable answer. It could be a drug target or it could be a prediction. So this is how it is working. So the input is actually a cell image. And from that, it is trying to identify a suitable drug target. So this is the recursion. They call it as a recursion operating system, where the patient-derived cells are taken. They are subjecting it with different types of chemical library. They are subjecting it with genetic knockouts. Then they are moving towards computational vision analysis, where they are using different types of reason online tools for predicting how this behaves. The image analysis is being done. Deep neural networking systems are being used. They are coming up with some phenotypic fingerprints, which are capable of identifying a candidate, means identifying the right key behind finding the right drug. Right? So this is how it goes on. So this drugs will be taken again. It will be added on to the patient-derived samples. Again, the observations will be taken to finally come up with the mixture of both dry lab and wet lab technique, a closed autonomous loop. And here in this industry, they are completely trying to come up with physical robotic experiments. They're trying to feed the data again inside into the deep learning models. They are dictate the next. They are going to be the major players in the physical experiment segments. And with that, they have so much of data. They have around 21 petabytes of biological image data with them. 3.5 billion microscopic images have been used for AI training. Millions of automated robotic experiments are happening in that industry, and trillion of gene compound relationship has been mapped in that industry. So this is their computational infrastructure. They have come up with NVIDIA. We all know that high power supercomputing systems. They have collaborated with this company. They have come up with the engine BioHive 2 supercomputer. They are able to come up with billion parameter foundation models. So, and previously they were using another model called the Phenom. So now they have 2 to 3 different models, which are approximately 1,000 times faster than that of the traditional computational approaches. So this is the trend which is changing. The first company, Estentia, was all about a sensor chemist approach. It's just a basic version, and now recursion is moving into phenomic trials. These are the different collaborators which are supporting this initiative, making this platform a very big player in pharmaceutical industry. And coming up with their outcomes, are they able to come up with some good outcomes? Yes, of course, they are able to come up with some good outcomes. They are able to come up with a drug, REC 617, especially for solid tumors. Assertion has come up with a wonderful result out there, right? They are actually trying to identify at what particular situation, phenomics is nothing like they're trying to identify at what particular situation the cell will become healthy. With this idea, they are able to come up with a drug which are currently in phase 2 clinical trial. They are also developed against solid tumor, and they are also coming up with REC 4881, which is also in the phase 2 trials, right? So this is and now these two companies have merged and they have generated Recursion has now developed an unified tech bio platform, which is completely dedicated to identifying clinical candidates from the disease biology. The third industry, which is transforming this pharmaceutical research, is we call it in silico medicine. This is the company which was being getting the $2 billion deal from Eli Lilly. So they are coming and funding with so much of money to come up with some wonderful answers. So they have such technology. They are positioned both in US and in Hong Kong. They are with the US, especially in New York and in Hong Kong. They are using a pharma AI module. They have 4 different modules out there. Their success relies on these 4 different modules. So they are coming up with an in silico AI module where they are considerably reducing the timeline and reducing the number of molecules which are being synthesized. And they're also coming up with an end-to-end workflow. So how this happens? So this is the entire schema of how this in silico medicine company operates. This was started in 2014, and they are able to come up with their first drug in a minimum period of 5 to 7 years. That is a plus point of this. So what happens is that there's so much of patient multiomic data and scientific literatures are being taken up. They're augmented with Chat Panda GPT system. It is an AI-assisted biological hypothesis generation system that the literature knowledge is also taken, and it is fed into a module called as Panda Omics. which is completely an AI-based target identification tool. This target identification tools works upon both scientific literature and omic technology, omic data. So from Panda Omics, this information is passed to another AI molecule design module called as Chemistry 42, which is a generative AI tool, which helps us to synthesize novel molecular designs. And last is in clinicio approach, the third AI module which has been approached. This is actually trying to predict the clinical trial success of this, whether it will be successful or not, whether it will be, it is completely trying to help in the clinical trial prediction area. They are even able to predict the clinical trial success of a molecule which they are able to synthesize. That is why they are the only company which is able to come up so many molecules with successful clinical trials. A very interesting, yeah. So this is how it operates. So first, the scheme which starts with Panda Omics, it will take into account the multi-omic data, like our transcriptomic data. All those data will be taken into account, and scientific literature will be also read with the help of Chat Panda GPT. And with this, they will try to identify the data, and it will be passed to the second channel, Chemistry 42, a generative AI, which will try to like identify the new molecule. They also have an alpha two-fold integration platform included over there, which will help in precise protein structure prediction. They're also using the quantum computing approaches for completely relaying and coming up with some novel inputs out there. And last is in clinicio, whether clinical trials will succeed for this drug or not. So they are the first one with an end-to-end prediction tool, right? And their drug is actually in phase 2 clinical trial testing. They're not yet in a stage to identify to witness the success of clinical trials in all these AI-based companies. Almost we are in the verge of identifying a drug which has passed in the clinical trial. So here they have worked with the drug ISM 00159, which is for idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis against TNIK inhibitor. So here the problem is that it is completely related to chronic inflammation, excess extracellular matrix deposition in the lungs, and progressive lung fibrosis is the problem over there. It's a critical problem which has been addressed over there, and they are coming up with a very interesting drug. And the first clinical phase results are interesting. They are able to get approximately 98 ml improvement in the full vital capacity at a very merger dose, right, compared to that of a placebo group. So they have come up with some good answers, and almost their next drugs are also in pipeline. So they have a track record of approximately 100% success rate in advancing the AI selected candidate into investigational new drug status. They have zero preclinical failures. Almost all the drugs what they are in the trial have now successfully reached 100% success rate for converting this preclinical drug into an investigational new drug. And their growth is also a different story. And of course, they got funding from Sanofi. From 2014, they started their industry. 2022, they came up with 1.2 billion US dollars with from Sanofi. Then they got a funding, Series D funding, which is high-end funding of 95 million US dollars. Then Google Mind collaborations, Deep Mind collaborations came over. Then again a series funding which they obtained from the federals, and finally now they are in the execution of multimodal drugs. So this is the comparison between both all the three different platforms. And one more company which I want to discuss with you people is Benevolent AI. Benevolent AI also takes into consideration the scientific literatures to a very larger extent, and they are actually working on a concept which is called as knowledge graph generation, knowledge AI. These are the areas in which Benevolent AI is working. They're trying to connect biomedical knowledge, right? They are trying to merge the information what they are getting from scientific literatures, what they are getting from clinical data, what they are getting from genomics, what they are getting from proteomics and drug databases. They are trying to merge all these data. They're trying to generate a graph, a knowledge graph. This knowledge graph is able to predict or AI is able to predict hidden relationship in this knowledge graph, which can be utilized for either drug repurposing or new drug targeting. So this is a very interesting story with benevolent AI. Is you all would have heard about it. Pre 2020, there has been a drug which is used for COVID-19, right? Baricitinib, which is actually focusing on very good in reducing the inflammation. And that knowledge gap has been utilized, has been identified in drug repurposing, and now they are using it successfully for rheumatoid arthritis. Right? So it's a success story of this particular technology. And the tools or the AI related modules what they are using over there is knowledge graph, which is helping to integrate the biomedical information. They're using NLP programming approaches. This is completely for extracting the knowledge from the publications. They're using graph machine learning algorithms to predict the hidden relationship. They're using biomedical AI application to prioritize the digital disease targets. They are also using a particular drug repurposing algorithm to identify new drugs or approved drugs for use to the patient. And they also have good number of success stories out there like ALS, glioblastoma, ulcerative colitis, atopic dermatitis. They are also coming up with some good drugs. We are expecting them, their success story also. And next is benevolent AI, which was started about the history. It was started in 2013, and now they have come up with some interesting funding opportunities, and they are in the verge of explaining a strategic restructuring and deliberation. So this is the technology, the high-end technology, what is responsible for the success in all these industries. We are going to learn Python. Okay. Now I have projected you what is actually expected in each industry. What is the end application which is expected in each industry? We have decoded what is actually needed. Are you able to identify this particular tool? You please develop the confidence of working in this particular data, working in this appropriate technology. These are the emerging technologies which you should be aware of. This information is completely from the research on the global players. And okay, let us also talk about India, right? We have discussed about the global trends, but we are not aware. Means we should also discuss about the India's AI pharma blueprint trend. So India, of course, it will take some time. India accelerating the AI adoption, but investigation gap is still remaining. Globally, when we discuss about the funds, globally it is approximately 8 funded in this AI domain, but India it is only 0.7 US 0.17 billion US dollars which are in this. It is approximately 2% of the global trend of what we are spending on this particular area. The next important thing which I want to tell you is that, but we are the volume players. We are the third largest in terms of volume of production. Low investment is the major problem which is happening over there. Right? Compared to China, they have 4 times greater investment in this particular domain. We are the third in global volume, but lagging in AI driven. Okay, who are the major players, sir? Sun Pharmaceuticals is a major player out there. Biocon also coming up with some good results. Cipla is also coming up with some good, interesting data, right? So the problem here is just the integration platform. The problem over here is, okay, we are there, resources are limited. We have a highly skilled scientific workforce, but the funding is yet to be streamlined. So AI is actually the entire pharmaceutical life cycle. We have at least a single company operating. We have companies operating in drug discovery domain. We have companies in India operating in clinical development domain. We have companies operating in manufacturing using AI for commercialization, sales analysis. We have almost companies working in all these areas. I can give you a small pitch of the different companies which are operating, right? From we can tell like a graphical representation of how this industry is operating. So Sun Pharmaceutical, Cipla, they are at a very minimal operational focus and very minimal AI maturity level. Talking about the high-end research, Syngene International is currently in this area. Lupin is actually interested in this area. Lupin is showing a very important, they are scaling AI-assisted R&D, which is backed up by workforce of approximately 1,400 scientists. Origin Pharmaceuticals is also coming up with a committed plan of approximately US 100 million US dollars in biologics and AI drug discovery alone. So they are also coming up. We have a high future value coming up. Situations are starting to change in Indian scenario also. There are some remarkable changes which are also witnessed in our country. So we need to be ready to make best utilization of this particular opportunity, right? So this is all the technologies which I've done, but I will also give you, since the title I have committed, I'll also give you what is going to be the future of this. Future is nothing but future is going to identify on these four areas. Future is going to help a real-time adaptive optimization technology, which is closed loop. Future is going to help us design the entire experiment or design the entire drug in seconds. Future is going to help us convert the entire laboratory system, convert the entire execution system robotic. They are going to come up with continuous 24/7 operational support and exact reproducibility of the data. These four are the major criteria which the industries are going to focus in future. And majority of the investors or majority of the industries are trying to inculcate in the. So this is actually called as the closed loop discovery. Most of the companies have started to operate in this domain, like make, which with the help of robotic systems, they're trying to make the molecules that they are trying to test the molecules. Testing data is automatically taken up for analysis for machine learning and data analytics based upon the data which has been required. Again, designing of the molecule takes place there. AI is targeting for new drugs, designing robotic systems is again doing the experiment. So this is the closed loop discovery, which is going to happen very shortly. So we are going to integrate two major areas in very short span of time. It's going to be artificial intelligence and robotics, which are going to play a very important role in pharmaceutical research. And this will definitely help us in coming up with some excellent outcomes in near future, like reducing the time. It will help us in improving the speed, improving the quality of the data, improving the precision of your therapy. And they have identified four pillars. And each and every companies are operating in this particular domain. The first is synthesis is a major pillar. Second pillar is biological observation. We call it as phenomics. Third pillar is what we call software service, lab as a service. Fourth is predictive modeling. These are the four pillars, and I will also tell you which companies are concentrating on this four pillar. First one is AstraZeneca. It's a good global example of a company which is operating in this particular domain. They are into autonomous chemistry platform. They are into autonomous synthesis pipeline. AstraZeneca iLab, which is completely called as an AI-powered medicinal chemistry lab. We also have Atinary and ChemSpeed, which is trying to optimize. Approximately, they have helped to reduce 12,000 possible experiments into 23 experiments with an efficiency of more than 80%. That's it. Second pillar is cellular phenomics. As I told you, the phenotypic changes in the cells when they are being treated with a new drug or when they are being subjected to a gene knockout experiment and a new drug. So that is going to be the second important pillar which the future is going to work with. The companies which are going to work in this area is Recursion, as I told you. Recursion is going to come up with AI, robotics, and computer vision. In Citro is another company which is a cell-based AI company, which will be also coming up with human cell-based AI laboratory. They will be trying to provide with automated gene editing, human-derived disease models. They are going to work in multimodal phenotyping. They're going to come up with closed-loop experimentation. Their target is within 3 weeks' time, from a disease model, they will be able to identify good hits in 3 weeks of time, right? The third pillar is laboratory as a service, which is also going to play a very important role. Like imagine a situation, of course, most of us are researchers. We can design a research from some part of the country. Emerald Cloud Lab is actually operating on this area. It is like AWS for biology, Amazon Web Service for biology. They are coming up with this laboratory as a service platform. Scientists can design experiment from anywhere. Robotics will perform the experiment. You can just download the results at your spot. This is going to be the next future. So we are going to limit the expenses which we are the major problem in our area is funding. So we are going to limit the resources. We are going to do it online, and everything is going to be through the web. And fourth one is predictive translation technology. We are going to utilize organ on a chip to identify the most safe lethal dosage. All the disease models will be developed. They will be tested in a very cheap and effective way, and this data will be investigated and coming up with an improved pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic predictions. And Vice Institute Interrogator is actually working on that. So this is going to change. It is in this way it is going to change. Manual laboratory will be minimized to automation, high throughput screening will be done, AI drug discovery, all the stages have been successfully crossed. Now we are in the stage of, in the future, we are in the stage of introducing self-driving laboratory, and finally AI, what we call humanoid AI scientists. They are going to pipette, they are going to do the reagent preparation, they are going to do the microscopic analysis, cell culture, data recording. Our job is just to observe the results, just to design the experiments based upon the human intelligence and come up with some good results at a very short span of time for the society, betterment of the society. So future is going to operate on this division of labor, DMTA engine, the loop, the closed loop, decentralization, human simulation, data integrity, and of course the paradigm. So the next generation of pharmaceutical research will not, of course, replace scientists with AI. It will elevate them. They will actually augment the scientists. They will augment the scientific procedures. They'll try to improve the process. So we should be in a position to adapt that change. Come up. So these are the global pace setters, and India is also coming up with some wonderful data out there. Okay, now coming to our trucks. Now, what is the problem out there? There is a small gap. The data-driven industry setup is expecting something, and the traditional setup is also providing some information, but some part is lagging. We try to bridge that gap. That is a concern of this career readiness program. So what is the need for the entire program? I will just share your insight. My dear friends, there are so much of data available on the net. That data can be either your molecular data, that data can be your biological data, it can be imaging data, clinical data. There is so much of big data available on the net. The only thing is you need to sit back, analyze the data, come up with some wonderful results. All these data are available online, freely available online. Only thing is you are supposed to go into the data, analyze it, but analyzing is a difficult part, right? We need to put it. And analyzing requires some additional effort. You need to try to automate your research flows. You need to have the capacity to do large biological data set analysis. And you should be also in a position to develop some predictive models. For this, you should have an expertise in following softwares, which I am showing. Python, R, MATLAB, SQL, and of course, Bash or Linux. So we are at the beginning step. We are trying to start with Python, right? The basics. So keep during the 4 to 5 days. Tomorrow we will have a research-based discussion. We will have a demonstration, and from day 3 we will start the hands-on activity. So during the space of our training, try to convert this data into. Don't just rely on studying what tools we use or how we operate. That is not needed. That ChatGPT can do. Your responsibility is that whatever data we try to, whatever tools we try to use with the available data, try to convert that data, whatever is available, into a meaningful data, meaningful research output, using the tools which you are discussing in this workshop or webinar or seminar or career readiness, whatever you call. So I try to identify it. So for that, you need to be thorough in 3 to 4 areas. You need to be thorough with basic logic like variables, conditionals, loopings. Only when you are thorough in this area, you can easily come up with automating some, like for that we have some examples, like automating dose conversion, solution preparations, all those stuff. Second is we need to have a good idea about the data structures, like dictionaries and all those stuff. And for that also, we have some experiments which are available. Once you are thorough in that area, we'll be able to do that particular experiment. Third is scientific computing using pandas and numpy. So how to clean the data, how to estimate some important parameters from the data which are available. And last, we'll be also focusing on advanced tools like AI and machine learning with some data which is available. How can we do it? Right. So we will actually try to give you some insights on these areas like NumPy, Pandas, and MATLAB. We'll help you in numerical computing. We'll try to focus on data management and also visualization tools. So this is how it is going to be. So first day 3, we will try to give you the environmental setup. If possible, algorithmic thinking will be handed over. Day 3, we will be, day 4, we will be targeting on data organization, exploratory data analysis, and subsequent days, we will be working on scientific visualization and biological interpretation. So we need an interdisciplinary pharmacist. We are trying to build up an interdisciplinary pharmacist with your pharmaceutical sciences background and with the computational methodologies which we train and with some technical literacy about these regions, we will be able to come up as an innovator. So we'll try to do some maximum experimentations in these areas during the course of the workshop. So to be a successful researcher, my advice is have an idea on let us focus on a single disease during the course of the workshop, try to get some meaningful information, study related to the biological problems related to it, the target which is responsible, the pathway in which it is involved, the gene expression in which only when you get the information about all these details, you will be able to come up with some novel findings, right? Actually, we will try to provide it, right? You should be in a position to identify the right signal in the noise. You should be able to in a position to pattern recognize. You should be able to develop systematic workflow. Right, all these tools we will actually try to support you during the course of this program. And what actually is required is a very larger context compared to that of a traditional scientist. We need to work more on programming, biological interpretations, AI understanding. We are till date we are focusing only on experimental skills to a larger extent. Of course, experiment is going to be taken care of robotics. Companies are working on that area. Now we need to work on the other areas, especially biological interpretation, AI understanding, and programming, to automate it, to make the research even faster with some good data in hand. So don't get Python is just a programming language, the scientific research tool. We'll try to work on it, and we'll try to effectively improve the drug development timelines. We'll come up with some good informed decisions and patient outcomes. So yeah, so thank you all very much for the patient hearing, and in the subsequent days we'll have the complete hands-on in this related areas. Thank you all. Any doubts? The session is open. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your highly informative and engaging presentation. Your valuable insights into digital transformation and computational approaches in pharmaceutical sciences have motivated all of us to explore these emerging technologies. We shall now move on to the question answer session. Participants are requested to post their questions in the chat box or raise their hands virtually. Our resource person will be pleased to answer them. Any questions? Please post your questions in the chat box or raise their hands virtually. Raise your hands virtually. To express our gratitude, I now invite Dr. Sri Vijayalakshmi Madam to deliver the vote of thanks. Madam.
Thank you, ma'am. On behalf of Periyar College of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Sinicon Labs Private Limited, I thank our respected principal, Dr. R. Sendamari ma'am, and our esteemed resource person, Dr. A. Ronaldo Anup, all the faculty members, participants, and organizing committee for making today's session a grand success. We look forward to your active participation in the upcoming sessions. Have a pleasant evening and thank you.
So I'm having one question in the chat box. Do we need any specific configuration for using Python? Sir?
No, I will just post all those details in the WhatsApp group. the
Okay.
requirements and all those I will be posting in the WhatsApp. That will not be an issue.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So thank you all. We can see tomorrow by 6 p.m. Join with us. Thank you.
இந்த 1 month தான் வந்து
ஐயோ பாரு எனக்கு ஒண்ணும் புரிய மாட்டேங்குது